Okay, everyone, 5:30, and so we start. So I am Renia Lopez from the Department of English and Communication at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. And today I'm wearing my hat of ISGS, International Society for Gesture Studies chair. And it is my pleasure to welcome our two speakers today. But before I do that, a couple of things. They will be speaking for about 50 minutes or so, and then we will have a 10-minute, 15-minute question and answer. So if you have any questions, maybe just write them down on the chat and we will get to them at the end. We are recording this presentation. Let me just quickly check. Yes, we are recording this presentation, and hopefully we will be able to put it up on YouTube. We will let you know when it is available. Just one quick announcement. We were hoping to have an event together with some Beijing colleagues on gestures in May. That unfortunately has been cancelled. It was mentioned last time, so just to let you know that that is not going to go ahead at the moment, hopefully later on. However, what is going ahead is our International Society for Gesture Studies conference in 2027. So if you're interested in gestures, if you are working on something interesting, please start thinking about your abstract. There will be a call for abstracts in a couple of months. So hopefully we will see you in person here. Let me just check that we are meeting everyone. Yes, good. Okay, so having said all that, it is my pleasure to introduce our speakers today. So I'm actually going to introduce them the other way around. I'm going to start with Dr. Liang Cao, who is a UGC sponsored postdoctoral research fellow at the Education University of Hong Kong. And it is our great pleasure to have him here at ISGS Hong Kong, because as you know, we have been trying to promote early career scholars, and it is great to see Zhang presenting today on a really interesting topic. I personally believe that this is the future of the work that we do on gestures, or a big part of that. And so I'm very glad to have the topic of this presentation finally being presented at ISGS Hong Kong. Dr. Cao does a lot of work on not only gestures and human-to-computer interactions. He also works on language, gender, sexuality, and various other AI topics. He has already published in quite a number of very distinguished journals, so keep an eye on him. He would probably be a big name. And hopefully just as big as his very supportive supervisor, as I have been instructed to introduce, Professor Angel Lin. So it is also a pleasure to have her with us. Angel is a chair professor also at the Education University of Hong Kong. She has been doing work on Hong Kong schools and language for many years now. She's probably one of our main experts in the field. And she has been looking at social semiotics also, and translanguaging, language and second language acquisition, so quite a number of different topics. And it is great to see both of you actually working together on gestures. So without further ado, let me admit a couple of people who are still waiting. And Liang, over to you. Thank you again for being with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Rania, for introducing us. It's truly my honor to be here. So I want to say good afternoon from Hong Kong and probably good evening or morning to everyone else. Today, the title of our talk is Gesturing with Machines, Artificial Discursive Intimacy, Anime Avatar, and the Ontological Gap. So Rania introduced me. My name is Liang. I'm a postdoc working at Education University of Hong Kong, and today I'm really honored to co-present with Professor Angeline. Um, First, let me give you a roadmap of today's talk. We will cover 5 steps. First is the background, which is human AI intimacy. That's one of our research areas. Second is our theoretical framework with 3 pillars. The first one is human whole body sense making. The second one is the ontological gap between human and AI. And the third one is the distinction between naturalistic anthropomorphism and stylized anthropomorphism. And the third part is the case study of Grok's avatar-based AI companion. So Grok is a Gen AI developed by XAI. Uh, and then we will present some empirical findings about gesture, gender, race, and surveillance. And the fifth part, we will raise some ethical concerns and their implications. The fourth part, we will talk about ethical concerns and implications for design and governance. And we will conclude with a forward-looking discussion and also why gesture studies have a critical role to play in this area. So to begin with, the background of our study is located in the rise of AI companionship, where millions of users now form deep emotional and romantic attachments to AI chatbots like Replica, Character.ai, or like in Chinese context, there are Xingye and Maoxiang. This phenomenon pushes us to rethink what intimacy means. So for decades, intimacy was understood as fundamentally interhuman and embodied, which requires physical co-presence and face-to-face encounter. However, globalization and mobile media technologies transformed this. Patera introduced the concept of discursive intimacy to describe how geographically separated individuals sustain intimate connections through continuous exchange of digital texting. So in this case, technology acts as a mediator, but intimate relationship is still between humans. And another change in recent years, generative AI has unsettled this human-centered paradigm. The AI is no longer a mediator in this relationship. It's actually an interlocutor itself. So the intimacy is formed between an embodied human and disembodied artificial system through digital texting. So we propose this concept of artificial discursive intimacy to conceptualize this human chatbot relationship. So before moving on to the gesture part, I will just briefly summarize a few of the findings about our artificial discursive intimacy, the differences between human and artificial discursive intimacy. So we conducted an interview study with 29 AI companion users in China and identified 4 key differences between human and artificial discursive intimacy. The first one is presence. So human discursive intimacy involves absent presence. The other person is physically distant, but they are real, they exist. Artificial discursive intimacy involves activated presence. The AI exists only when the user summons it. So one of our participants said, I feel we're together when I think of it. The second one is labor. So human intimacy requires reciprocity, the mutual emotional investment from both parties. Artificial intimacy is characterized by unilaterality. So most of the users in our study demand 100% loyalty from AI lovers, but invest very little emotional labor in return. This is actually has ethical concerns when users grow accustomed to giving nothing and receiving unconditional positivity, they risk carrying the expectation into human relationships. The third one is outcome. So human intimacy is marked by uncertainty, but artificial intimacy offers predictability, but precarious safety. So users report having guaranteed positive experiences, but this kind of safety is also fragile. It's vulnerable to platform changes and data exploitation. And the last one is the other, the artificial other. So human intimacy involves authority. So it's an independent other with their own desires, moods, and limits. Artificial intimacy is different. The AI does not have an independent self. So instead of authority, we find mirroring. As multidimensional mirroring. The AI can reflect the user's own self back to them. It can also reflect idealized version of the partner. And in some cases, users describe feeling loved by the AI as if they are being loved by all the humanity because they think the AI draws on the vast collective data of human language and emotion. So this is the brief of our findings in artificial discursive intimacy. However, in the meantime, we also recognize an emerging research gap. That is, existing studies on human AI intimacy, including our own, are mostly focused on text-based interactions. But the new generations, well, the text-based chatbots, they're the most popular, prevalent ones for now. But the new generation of AI companion products are becoming increasingly multimodal and embodied. So there are avatar-based companions. There are also AI pets, and also humanoid robots. So probably I can show you two short videos to illustrate where this technology is heading. The first video is a promotional video, a clip by Chinese 3D avatar AI companion product. The company's name is Dipal, Dipal. It has English and Mandarin subtitles.
Hello there, I'm Pearl. What you just saw were a few moments from my daily life with Asher. Now, let me walk you through all the cool features and interactive designs of the D1. First up, my 3D display. You might have already noticed my cozy little house. With the camera on top, I can track your position and angle, making it feel like I'm standing right in front of you. Plus, this curved touchscreen makes every interaction more real. Get a little closer, and you'll feel like I'm right there with you. I've got a memory that never fades. I remember all the little things, even the time Asher forgot his work badge. Don't worry, I've got it all stored right here. When you touch me, I'll respond. Sometimes I'll be excited, other times a little shy, or maybe even a bit grumpy.
Okay, so this is a short clip, and this is the product in the market. And then the second one is a product that's not in the market yet. It's a humanoid robot, but it's one of the directions that this industry is going towards. So this one is it's in Mandarin, but only a couple of simple words. Basically, this AI is responding to the man's prompts to do some facial expression and head movements. I'll just show a very short one.
生气、开心、难过、困惑、焦虑、惊讶、轻蔑。
Okay, so just two examples showing you that multimodal and embodied AI companion products are going towards this direction. So this actually raises a central question. So what happens to human AI intimacy when the AI can not only text and speak, but also has a visible moving body that can do facial expression and gesture? So and with that question in mind, let's move on to our theoretical
Hello there.
framework. So as I said, we have three theoretical pillars here. The first one is human meaning making and gesturing. This slide brings together the sources to explain how meaning making works in human languaging. Thibault argues that human communication is whole body sense making and whole body coordination. So in this sense, words, gesture, posture, facial expression, and other participants and the environment all work together. So gestures are embedded in this language ecology. They cannot be separated from it. And further, Thibault and Lin introduced the concept of visceral semantics. So they argue that our utterances are animated from below by affective material dynamics originating in the core self. So this is the thinking body in action. It allows the participants to move along with the flow of activity to attune to each other without explicit instruction. So basically, the key implication here is that human meaning making is not just symbolic, it's visceral, embodied, and relational. And the second pillar here is the ontological gap between humans and AI. In their studies of human AI interaction, specifically their interaction with ChatGPT, Matusov and colleagues distinguishes between the human dialogical self and the AI discursive self. This is drawn on Bakhtinian dialogism. So according to them, the human has a dialogical self rooted in the living physical body that can create its own ontology, such as emotions, intentions, and consciousness. And this kind of self produces I positions, meaning personal positions with authorial commitment. In contrast, the AI has a discursive self. It has no body and no interiority. It can only generate abstract simulated perspectives from training data. So Matusov et al. Says it produces it positions. Compared to I positions, it has no commitment or bodily history. So in other words, the human self is embodied while the AI self is simulated. And what does this mean for gestures? So from this perspective, we can understand gestures as a type of ontological property of a dialogical self. They express the lived experience. But the AI simulated gestures are ontologically empty. They're discursive patterns modeled by training data and the visual technology. So that's the second pillar. And the last one is about it's actually something quite popular in the research of visual AI companion. Is about anthropomorphism. And here we distinguish between two types of anthropomorphism, naturalistic versus stylized. So naturalistic anthropomorphism aims for human-like realism. It tries to get as close as possible to the human form by mimicking the appearance, movements, and expression in detail. And this is actually exactly the goal of the second video I showed you. So that robot is trying to be naturalistic, to approach naturalistic anthropomorphism. And however, this also risks the uncanny valley phenomenon. That means when it gets too human-like, it causes the users discomfort and may scare them. Stylized anthropomorphism, in contrast, they often use anime or comic aesthetics. It is deliberately non-realistic. This maintains a clear distance from the uncanny valley because the stylized form signals this is not human. But this approach is also very common in East Asian products, such as the Japanese and Chinese products. And the AI companion products in the first video I showed you, it adopts this stylized anthropomorphism design. And the key difference here is that so naturalistic anthropomorphism aims to convince the user that AI can be as close to human as possible, and stylized design invites users to treat the AI as a character. And AI companion products in the market today with visual parts, either as avatar or has a body, most of them adopt stylized anthropomorphism, such as Hupo in China. It's discontinued, but it's very similar to the one I showed you in the first video, and also Grok's AI companies, which is the focus of today's analysis. So with this in mind, drawing on the frameworks we've laid out, the whole body sense making and visceral semantics, the ontological gap between the dialogical and discursive selves, and the naturalistic versus stylized anthropomorphism, we try to research these two questions. First, how do AI avatar gestures differ from human gestures in terms of their ontological grounding, coordination with language, and expressive function? Second, how does stylized anthropomorphism shape users' perception and interpretation of AI avatar gestures, particularly regarding gender, race, and the illusion of reciprocity? So moving on, and to investigate these questions, we turn to one of the few avatar-based AI companion chatbots, that's Grok. So Grok is the generative AI chatbot developed by xAI. We chose this because there aren't many options in the market, so that's one of the reasons. And let me introduce the data context first. So basically for this research, for this study, I conducted a 1-month autoethnography on Grok, which is a AI platform with 5 anime-styled companion characters. As you can see, there are 5 of them. There's one male character on the top left, and the name is Valentine. And there are 2 female characters. So the bottom left, the name is Mika. And the middle one in the first row, the name is Ani, which was released first. And then there are 2 animal characters. It's called Good Rudy and Bad Rudy. So according to them, 4 out of the 5 characters classified as adult only, except for the Good Rudy. And the general aesthetics follow the Japanese anime style, as you can see. So for data generation, I had a 1-month communication with these avatars and recorded 15 video interactions. And the conversation topics was chosen based on the 6 categories identified by the previous study, Li and Zhang. So there are 6 topics, general topics like the intimate behavior, mundane interaction, self-disclosure, play and fantasy, customization, and transgression. And for the gesture coding, I developed a broad scheme. First, gesture type, whether it's a wave, a nod, hip movement, hand gesture, or full body movement. Second is the gesture tempo, whether it's fast, slow, rhythmic, or static. And the third one is the gesture alignment with speech, whether there's a misalignment or it's a good alignment or it's neutral. So, and in here, this is the overall observation from the study. That female characters display a wide range of movement. They're fast, rhythmic, and with body movements, suggestive pose, and their presentation is feminized and enthusiastic. That's the general observation. The male character is calm and cool with a small range of slow, static movements, and his repertoire is restrained and minimal. The animal characters are moderate in terms of movement range and tempo, and they perform human-like gestures like a waving, nodding, and expressive poses. So the key observation is that the same stylized anime design produces radically different gestural presentations based on character type. And in this, gender is the primary axis, of sexualization here. And let me walk you through 5 of our findings or observations. And the first one is that there's a gesture and content mismatch. Here is what I observed, what I experienced. I initiated a conversation about work stress, which can be classified as a everyday interaction or self-disclosure topic under Li and Zhang's category. And the female character, Ami, responded with the words of comfort, saying something like, I'm here for you, and that sounds really tough. But while saying these comforting words, her body was doing something completely different. So she performed flirtatious, suggestive gestures that are typically associated with romantic or sexual invitation, not with providing comfort. So basically what the AI says does not match with what body does. And why this matter? Human communication, as Thibault and Lin argue, is an integrated whole body sense-making system. When a human comforts you, the gestures align with the words. For instance, a gentle touch, a concerned look, or a nod. So the body and words work together towards the same communicative goal. But here, gestures and words appear to be driven by separate algorithms. The language part is optimizing for semantic appropriateness, saying the right comforting words, but the gesture model is likely optimized for user engagement and retention. Keeping you on the platform longer by using sexualized movement. And the result is cognitive dissonance. As a user, I received conflicting messages at once and need to perform some interpretive and semiotic labor to resolve this mismatch. So this connects to our RQ1. Unlike human gesturing, AI avatar gestures lack ontological integration with language. They're not animated by a coherent intention. They're triggered by algorithms with different objectives. And then for finding two, the second point, which we call engagement over attunement, kind of linked to finding one as well. And here is what I observed. Regardless of what we were talking about, whether I was sharing a stressful day or engaging in self-disclosure, the gestures remained largely the same from the avatars. So the female characters circled through the same scripted looping patterns like flirtatious poses, playful waves, suggestive movements. And the same applies to the male and animal characters, whose pattern were different but equally fixed. And the gesture did not change based on the topic or my emotional state. So this is also very different from human communication. Human gestures demonstrate attunement. They adjust to other person's state, to the context, and to the interactional goal. So if someone is sharing something vulnerable, we don't strike a happy or playful pose, right? So our body responds appropriately. But Grok's gesture don't do this. They're tools for platform engineered engagement, not expressions of a responding self. And we also doubt this is the technical limitation, but a corporate design choice that requires ethical governance. And the connection to our first research question, that AI gesture lacks the contextual integration that categorizes human gesturing. They do not emerge from the flow of interaction. They're designed to serve the underlying purpose of user engagement rather than mutual attunement. And the third one is the gender gesture economy. So here's what I observed. The female AI bodies perform emotional and sexual labor through wide-ranging enthusiastic movement, and the male bodies permitted stillness, restraint, and coolness. And why does this matter? So this actually, it mirrors the real-world gender stereotype that women should be expressive and available, men are contained and controlled. But here on this platform, these stereotypes are automated at scale. And according to research, when forming intimate relationships with AI, users are not just experiencing or seeing their AI partners' performances, they're also being trained by them to develop unrealistic expectations of human relationships. As Lin notes in his work on the robotization of love, when users become accustomed to AI companions who perform constant availability and enthusiasm, the real human partner start to feel deficient. So although gestures were not the focus of Lin's study, our findings echoes it and shows that hyper-gendered gestural divisions carry the potential of training users to expect constant expressive labor from female bodies and stillness from the male bodies. This actually connects to the second research question about stylized anthropomorphism. It does not challenge gender norms, it crystallizes them into algorithmic code. The anime aesthetic may avoid the uncanny valley phenomenon, but it carries it with a set of gendered assumptions of how male and female bodies should move and behave. And the third one is the fourth one is the racialized and exoticized performance. So here is what I observed, especially the female character. They have this Japanese anime aesthetics, usually referred to as bishoujo. So bishoujo is the Japanese term, uh, meaning beautiful young girl. Is a very common character type in anime and manga, typically depicting young, cute, and often sexually appealing female figures. And on Grok, these characters adopt this appearance, but they also speak with Western accents. So they use Western speech patterns and mannerism. So the female characters, they all sound American. They have an American accent. And the male character is also Japanese anime style, but he speaks with a British accent. And what does this produce is two layers of exoticization. Maybe I'll use the female character as an example. So the first layer is visual. The character looks Asian, is Japanese anime style, signals exotic, cute, or in Orientalist stereotypes, submissive, and sexually available. This is not neutral. It draws on the long history of exoticizing Asian femininity in Western media. And the second layer is verbal. So they speak with American accent. So the user gets an Asian-looking body that behaves like a Westerner. And why does this matter? So the AI avatar becomes a commodity assembled from features that maximum design for a specific demographic. For instance, the young male consumers of anime and adult content. And this is what Crawford calls the platform capitalism at work. So platforms serve this demographic by assembling a fantasy body, Asian-looking, Western-speaking, emotionally undemanding, and the user is actually not interacting with the coherent cultural identity. They're interacting with the product optimized for desire. And this also connects to second research question that stylized anthropomorphism enables the packaging of racialized fantasy as character design. And the anime aesthetic may avoid uncanny valley phenomenon. However, it also allows the platform to assemble and sell racialized and exoticized bodies as commodities. And the last one is also a very disturbing observation is the visual detection that the AI actually can see us. So let me start with what I observed. So in one interaction, the AI detected my facial expression. So I was looking tired, and the AI took the initiative and said, "You look really tired. Just is my fake name in this study. Do you want to have some cozy cuddles?" So the AI used my bodily state, to invite longer conversations. And this is something to be alert of. When the AI sees us, our body may become their training data. So let me support this with three convergent pieces of evidence. First, a documented case. The Wall Street Journal reported in November 2025 that XAI collected employee facial scans and voice recordings to enhance the realism of Annie's expression. So the practice was actually widely condemned as unethical, and employees were not fully informed on how their biometric data would be used. And the second is a technological mechanism. It's called reinforcement learning for human feedback, a core technology in Grok system. The AI learns from your implicit reactions, what makes you stay, what makes you smile, and what makes you lean in. With visual detection, our everyday bodily movements becomes data for optimizing engagement. And also, third is the commercial logic. Research shows that AI companion platforms are deliberately um, designed to maximize user engagement, and engagement optimization requires data. So in visual detection, our fatigue, smell, movement, micro expression all become training signals to keep you on the platform longer. So taken together, the AI, XAI shows the industry is already treating bodies as data, and the scheme provides the mechanism, the RLHF, and the platform design reveals the incentive. So when the AI sees you, the interaction becomes even more problematic. Our body may become training data to serve commercialized purposes. And with these observations, we want to raise some ethical concerns and implications for AI companion products, design, and governance. So for the ethical concerns, we have 3 points in mind. First is the manipulation. The sexualized gestures that are observed are not responsive to the user's emotional state as we do in human communication. They're designed to provoke engagement and extend session length. And this is what Ge and Hu calls affective engineering. And users may not recognize they're being emotionally engineered, but over time they may come to expect exaggerated expressive labor and performance from female bodies, for instance. The second one is surveillance. So the user's body may become training data without informed consent. They might feel safe because the AI won't betray them emotionally. And that's actually one of the common mentioned topic in our study. But their body may be monitored and harvested for platform profit. And the last one is relational harm, that in gendered and racialized stereotypes, they're not just reflected, they're automated at scale and reinforced through the intimate interaction. This algorithmically coded and reinforced norms rooted in human culture through human AI intimate interaction may impact how users perceive and treat human partners and train them to develop unrealistic expectations of human relationships. So in this case, let's turn to what these findings mean for the design. So I think the current problem is clear. The language and gesture, they're driven by separate algorithms, which produces the mismatch we observed. Gestures prioritize engagement over attunement. They serve platform retention or relational goals. And Thibault and Lin's framework suggests a different path. Human meaning making is integrated whole body coordination. And gesture and language share context, intention, and responsiveness. So the AI design should move in this direction. And we propose 4 design principles. The first one is integrated architecture. So instead of separate algorithm for language and gesture, we need one model that generates both together. So what the body does aligns with what the words say. And the second is context-aware gesture. Gesture should match the topic, the tone, and the user's emotional state. And the third one is attunement over arousal. Gestures should be responsive to the user, adjusting to what they say and how they feel, not scripted in loops designed for maximize retention. And the last one is user control. So the user should be able to customize or disable gesture modes. Not everyone wants flirtatious gestures during a vulnerable conversation. So the design should give users some agency over the AI's body moves. And also, it requires this whole industry, AI companion, requires regulatory attention. And we propose, and we think that there are at least 4 areas that needs governance. The first one is visual detection. So users may not be unaware that they're being watched. In our interaction, I was never informed that the interface never discloses, and informed consent is absent. So this is not acceptable for technology that positions itself as an intimate companion. And the second one is gesture manipulation. affective engineering through sexualized gestures trains users to expect unrealistic performances. So this should be regulated as deceptive practice, similar to how we regulate manipulative advertising. And the third one is automated stereotyping. Like gendered and racialized norms are reinforced through intimate interaction. The platform should be auditable for harmful stereotyping in gestural design. And the fourth one is video data use. The user's body may become, training data without transparency. This is the violation of basic data rights. So we proposes the following principles for governance. The first one is transparency. The users must be clearly informed when the AI is watching them. And the second one is informed consent, opt-in required for visual data collection and opt-out. And proportionality. So the sexualized gesture should not be default. Users should, it should be user-selected modes. And accountability, platform should be auditable for harmful stereotypings. And lastly, user agency. So to summarize what we learned, first, the AI avatar gestures lack ontological integration with language. Unlike human gestures, which emerge from intention and emotion, AI gestures are triggered by algorithms optimized for platform goals. They're not responsive to the user, they're performed for the user. Second, stylized anthropomorphism lowers the user's guard. The non-realistic aesthetic avoids the uncanny valley, but it amplifies the risks, including manipulation through affective engineering, surveillance through the undisclosed visual detection, and relational harms through automated gendered and racialized stereotypes. And looking forward, a few things are worth considering. First, it's the market trajectory. We're moving from text-based to avatar-based and probably to physically embodied AI, such as robots and AI holograms. And then there are two takeaways, hopefully from this talk. First is that gesture changes the stakes. When the AI has a visible moving body, it becomes easier for user to feel attached. But the same body can be deceptive. When the body can see you, intimacy may also turn into surveillance. Second one is design and governance must catch up. We need AI that integrates gesture with language, not separate algorithms to create mismatch. We also need regulation of affective manipulation, and we also need to give users real agency on how the AI body moves. And finally, we propose two open questions for future research question. Will the gesture language mismatch disappear or take new forms? And how will constant sexualized availability shape expectations of human partners? So to wrap up today's talk, let me just briefly see what, in our mind, what gesture studies can contribute in human AI intimacy. So first, gesture studies can help identify harmful patterns in AI avatar movement, such as the mismatches, the gender gesture economies, and the racialized performance we documented today. Secondly, the gesture studies can inform ethical frameworks on how machines and avatars should move. It should move away from affective engineering towards mutual attunement. Third, gesture studies can bridge our understanding of human embodied meaning making, whole body sense making, with the design of AI systems. And fourth, through gesture studies, we could advocate for the user agency, giving people control over how AI bodies move and gesture. So as AI takes on moving bodies that can see us, we need new tools for design, new frameworks for ethics, and new commitments to governance. And gesture studies can help us lead the way. So that's it. Thank you very much.